My name is Quy Tran. I'm a resident of Pleasant Hill. Before I start, I want to state for the record that although I have affiliations with local, state, and federal agencies and organizations, I am here tonight on my own accord, and any views or opinions expressed by me are my own and do not reflect any organizations for which I have an affiliation. Mr. Mayor, City Council members, City staff, you're here today to discuss the first steps in the districting process. And although many of us hold true to the idea that diversity and representation matters, and that there could have been a different choice made to have gotten there, we as a city have been dealt this hand. So we should at least move forward intentionally with the imposed framework forced onto the city. So let's start at the basics with the California Voting Rights Act as quoted. The legislator finds and declares that the purpose of this act is to address ongoing vote dilution and discrimination in voting as matters of statewide concern in order to enforce the fundamental rights guaranteed to all California voters. Therefore, the provisions of this act shall be construed liberally in furtherance of this legislative intent to eliminate minority vote dilution, end quote. Although race and ethnicity cannot be used as a sole determinant in creating districts, we are here today because the city is near 40% minorities, and it is the raison d'etre. I urge the City Council to invite and open up this process to the very minority groups that are the reason we are even doing this, and hold true to the ideal that the city is an inclusive one, which should include inclusivity for this districting process. I am disappointed that there was very little to no outreach to minority groups either directly or through the use of language services, or to the use of translations of the public notice for this meeting. To correct that, I'm submitting for the record Vietnamese and Chinese translations to the city clerk for inclusion into written comments for today's meeting. I hope that the city hires professional interpreters to do that work and outreach to all of the minority groups in Pleasant Hill. Not doing so would not be congruent with the spirit of the CVRA and not hold true to the statements of inclusivity and diversity punctuated in so many city proclamations. Now, having said all that, I do want to point out several communities of interest that should be kept intact. Although Pleasant Hill is about 40% minorities, it is actually quite easy to create a district north of Taylor Boulevard that would be a majority minority district with the predominant minority as the AAPI community. And it's also quite easy to create another district east of Contra Costa Boulevard that is almost a majority minority district with the Latin and Slavic communities being the predominant minorities. Creating these two districts will neither split nor stack minority votes, so they will be congruent with both the letter as well as the spirit of the CVRA. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. Cảm ơn, Thị trưởng và Hội đồng thành phố.